we're going to do this, but we're going to do it our way.
You bought a robot, baby?
Wow, that was a joke grenade. That took me a second. Imagine the poop emoji as furniture.
It's weird that we didn't do that 10 minutes ago.
We should have. We should have started that before, you know. That makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't we do that?
Too late now.
Matt, you forgot to disclaimer this part. We're old, and we remember how it used to be. There, go. And it was better then, too. You got to put that in there. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly.
While you guys are weaving belts, I'm going to sing this little tune that I wrote.
We think we're funny. On with the show.
This is X Radio X.
Well, hey, Matt, I hit record. I guess that means this is the start of episode 21 of X Radio X. How you doing today?
Fantastic. Kicking off season 3. It
Wow.
feels like only yesterday we were not knowing what we were doing, and now we almost know what we're doing.
Yeah, it was only yesterday that we didn't know what we were doing, and today is the day where maybe we figure it out. I doubt it, but stay with us, and maybe you will be witness to when we get it right.
So I just want to say that I first off, I had a lot of fun with the last episode where we season ended with Jeff doing the contest about the misheard lyrics, and people have been talking about it on Twitter. So we might expand the parameters of that in the future because it seemed like it was fun for other people as well.
Yeah, and I had actually had that idea for you that instead of misheard lyrics, we could do that, but we could also do where we pick a person who's in the band and then you have to name the band who that is, because that could get fun, because we were having a whole discussion about the band U2, and we could remember the guitar player, the singer,
right,
the bass player, and then the person who plays drums we just called the guy who plays drums
the other guy.
in U2, because we have no idea who he is. I don't even know
he
if it's
doesn't
a he.
care.
It could be a woman. I don't know.
He cashes his checks just like all the rest of the band members, so he probably doesn't care.
Yeah. So we are in episode 21, and we have been, one of the things we've been trying to do here with our little program that we've done, X Radio X, is kind of bring back to our lives some of our old friends that we used to work with at Radio X, WPX Marquette, which is kind of how we got the name of the show. And so we've had like Bridget on, we've had Dave on, and Stone Cold and Jeff and Sluice. Gentrix. We've had a few of them on, and one of our biggest listeners / supporters online has been Spike Chiquet.
That's right.
And we were like, okay, we've talked to all these other folks. We've got to start the next season with Spike. Yeah. So today, or I should say this evening as we record it, we have got Spike with us. And before we get to talking to you, Spike, I need to read our disclaimer, because being that Matt and I are super professional people these days, we're not just college DJs like we used to be. We want to disclaimer this so people know what they're getting into. So if I may,
take it away.
Listeners at large, please do not be alarmed. Our guest today goes by the street name of Spike Chiquet. He's not the leader of a French biker gang like his name would imply. Spike is neither a truant, offender, malefactor, wrongdoer, miscreant, swindler, narco-terrorist, or malfeasant. Nope, he's none of these. Actually, his government name is just John. He's actually a father, husband, and lover of craft beers. Spike is just his fun radio name. There, you have been warned. Be not afraid, and continue on with the episode with us. Spike, how you doing?
Spike.
I am doing.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, man. You know what? I have been so happy that you guys have done this. This has been such a revel through life that I sort of remember, kind of like Matt always talks about, that you have to tell me what happened, and then I can kind of go from there. And I can tell the story. It doesn't mean it's going to be right. It doesn't mean it's going to be factual, but it's going to be a hell of a story.
And you know what? It happened for some of us over 20 years ago, but we won't get into that. So Does it need to be right? No. Does it
No.
need to be
No.
factual? What are facts these days
Yeah.
anymore? Is the story good? It's radio. Yes, let's go with it.
Yep.
Exactly. So, and I'll probably alternate between calling you Spike and John. So I apologize. I haven't decided, but so tell me, what we like to ask everybody first off is tell me how you got started in college radio. What was the motivating factor? Did you just what happened that made you say, I want to be a DJ on that station?
I was a DJ before Radio X. I started, yeah.
I knew that.
Points for Jace.
My FCC license is stamped April of 93. So I started. So I think so that means I was 15 going on 16, and I worked for the AM station. Yeah, it's child labor, but it was free. So
it was the 90s. Nobody cared about child labor.
Simpler times.
No. I just happened to. It was the AM station for Q107 actually, AM 970 WNVN, which I think had went on the air in '88. So it had been on the air for about 5 years at that point. And my friend was 2 years older than me. He could drive, so he would let me drive his car sometimes when I, as a driver's permit thing, and let me drive up to the radio station with him. But my parents said, if you want to do this, it's up in Ishpeming. If you want to get there, you figure a way. So I was taking Mark Tran every stop between the Marquette Mall and the Q107 studio. Yeah, I mean, it was half hour there, 45 minutes back. I mean, there was some crazy stuff, but I got to do live radio with reel-to-reels and tape decks and cart machines, CD players, and records players right off the bat. And you learned how to run a live radio station and turn on the transmitter, turn off the transmitter. It was an entire thing.
See,
so
I knew that you started in radio before WUPX. I knew that. But I was under the impression that you started at, unless WNVN, I think I got those call letters right, was that, I thought you started at a Christian station.
Yep. Yeah. It was Joe Blake.
Was that?
Q107 owned it. And
okay. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was that station.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
So 970, it was called 970, the cutting edge of Christian rock when we started. And then it changed to Edge Radio 970. And I think it went off the air in 96. And so I had started at Radio X. I'm fuzzy on this. So there was a girl that was in high school, like 2 or 3 years ahead of me, named Mary Rose. She actually was working at Radio X in West Hall and wanted me to sit in on her show with her on like Sunday afternoons. So I was in high school at the time, working at this other radio station, getting an opportunity just to see what this radio station was like. So I got to go to West Hall a few times, and they just moved in to the new studio. So they were in that middle. So I can't remember if it's 94 or 95. So if it was before my senior year or before my freshman year, I started working at Radio X, basically took her shift, and I never did, kind of like what Dave ended up with, which I just showed up and kept working there. And I don't think I ever filled out a DJ application. I don't think I wasn't on the board or anything. I just knew how to turn a microphone on. So I started talking.
If only it had been that easy.
Yeah, that's
just show up. If we had known that ahead of time, the pressure would have been off.
I never would have
actually
applied.
Nervous.
I mean, Jeff and I just would have walked in and said, "Hey, we're going to do a radio show," because Jeff Heineman and I started with Jeff, and this would have been fall of 95. So you were there before me, Spike. So you must either showed up that previous spring or end of 94.
Yeah, summer.
Because I knew you were there when I got there.
Yeah, it had to have been that spring or summer of 95. The only thing that I remember is being in computer classes, and back when computers had to be like an entire room, and in high school, and printing out posters for my show to post at my high school to tell people to listen to my show. But I was working at TV6 at the time too. So I was working at, I was an intern at TV6 in the sports department. I was working at Edge Radio, and then I just started at Radio X, and I think Taco Bell was in there too, but I got fired for eating a taco or something. I don't know.
Oh, I remember when you worked at Taco Bell too, because I remember pulling up there 2.5 sheets to the wind and probably yelling expletives at you through the drive-through window. I am sure it happened.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you exactly what it was, but I am positive it happened.
Oh, absolutely. And man, we were in front of a bowling alley, and at 2 a.m., that place was rocking. I mean, Marquette had security at the Taco Bell. I mean, he was not. He was. Taser, not a taser. What's the spray? The spray stuff.
Pepper spray,
and a flashlight. But security at Taco Bell. He'd stand right there next to the little gumball machine, and just give people dirty looks.
I just remember the Taco Bell in Marquette. Like when you worked at the radio station was on one side of town.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Taco Bell was on the other side of town, which Marquette's not huge.
No.
But most of the bars were just downtown, which was only half mile from the radio station, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So you would like for us on Saturday nights, we would get done and we would head down to the bars, Washington Street Pub, or the Wash Tub as we called it, get all lit up. And then thank God Matt didn't drink, because then he would drive us all the way across town. That was the one thing. If you wanted to get to Taco Bell after being at the bar, it was either a ill-advised drunk drive trip, which I do not advise anybody to do, especially in the winter in Marquette, or you really had to find somebody who was sober and promise to buy them food to drive your butt all the way across town to get to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the best routes when you were drunk, though? Because I mean,
best.
Because you always
the road
you go
that
by
went
the high
behind
school.
the Super One.
Yeah, up Lincoln. You would head up Lincoln, and Lincoln.
Head
I
over on
forgot
Fair.
what road it ended.
Fair Avenue.
What road is that?
Fair Avenue, and
Is that
it would
okay?
come all the way to Taco Bell, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Essentially, you'd kind of back road it up the hill.
Oh yeah, you're not taking Highway 41. That's where the state
No.
State boys are.
And you would pop right out at the parking lot where Taco Bell was.
And a party was
Isn't
happening.
there there's like a Super One or an Econo Foods over there? I think there's Super Ones over there.
Super One, yeah.
I don't know if it's
Wow.
still
So
there,
if you wanted a geography lesson on Marquette circa 1996, there you go. I think
there are people
it's still pretty much the
feverishly
same.
drawing on a piece of paper to try to map out what we just described, and hopefully they got it right.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Okay, so you were a child prodigy in the broadcasting world. You started when you were 15, which is pretty impressive. And what type of music did you listen to before you started at Radio X? Like, were you all over the board? Were you pretty much into one type of thing at the time before you started there?
Yeah. I'll rewind a little bit. I was very sheltered growing up. So I would say 89, Razor's Edge from AC/DC came out, and I had no idea who AC/DC was. So that's 12 years old and no idea who they were.
In fairness, AC/DC had just came out in Marquette, so it's cool.
I think with the talent show, do you guys remember Mike Walker? He had a band. I think he runs he used to run a taco truck just the past few years in Marquette.
No.
But I think he a couple years older than me. I don't think he ever worked at Radio X, but he was a music guy, played in bands and stuff. He might have moved away from Marquette, during our time there, but his band did TNT for the 7th or 8th grade talent show. And that was the first time I ever heard rock music live.
Yes.
Before that, it was Beach Boys, California Raisins, Sing the Greatest Hits, and oldies, that my mom was singing, or Johnny Cash and the more of the outlaw country stuff that I grew up on from the 70s, Conway Twitty and stuff like that. So then I got a CD player in 91, and it was DC Talk and White Cross as my first 2 CDs. And I think I might have got a Weird Al Yankovic CD as well. So that's where I was at the start of high school. And
that's an interesting mix. DC Talk, White Cross, and Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes.
The funny thing is, I believe out of those 3 artists, I had CDs from 2 of them. One of them was not DC Talk.
Okay.
Really?
Kicking some high gear.
I actually saw DC Talk in concert.
Well, see, and this is one of the things we're going to get to with Spike is actually there, inside the radio station, I would say there was friendly competition amongst all of us, and we would jab at each other a lot. But there was one thing that I learned a lot from Spike about, and it was that Christian music, Christian rock especially, was more than just Striper and Petra and White Cross and those type of group. Yeah. So we'll get more into that later, but I'll let you continue, Spike.
Okay. So then, I started working at 970, and that was right, 93, 94. So you're talking the alternative music generation started there. And that's when I really got into that kind of music. And I started at a metal show. So I was listening to the really heavy stuff right off the bat: Living Sacrifice and Tourniquet, Bride, Mortification. It was all, again, on the Christian music level. So it was, stuff like that I listened to at first. Radio X is what really opened me up to everything. And now I listen to so much that all my friends can't stand when they're with me, because my Blu-ray or, either CD players or whatever I'm playing off of Spotify or something, like, it's so eclectic and all over the board. I can go death metal to alt country to classic rock to, Enya or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just wherever and whatever, and I can enjoy it. That Radio X really opened that up, because you get to meet so many people that have all those different backgrounds. So, that was my progression. True. And I'll never.
And do you find, just after mentioning that, do you find that you have to, like, for example, on Spotify, do you have to, like, hyper categorize your music in the event that you want to listen to a particular type? Like, I've found that I have to make like 97 playlists so that if I have a certain thing that I'm doing, it's not going to go from Garth Brooks to, Metallica to, like, because sometimes I'm not in the mood for that jarring of a transition. So I've been building like hundreds of playlists just so I can say, okay, if I'm in the mood for this, there's 50 or 60 songs that'll work. And if I'm in the mood for that, here's another 80 to 100 songs. Are you doing that a lot, or is that just me because I'm OCD?
Your podcast got me to actually download Spotify, because for some reason I could not get the Apple podcast to upload fast enough. So I wanted to hear the new episode, and it wasn't there yet. So I'm like, fine, I know they're on Spotify. I think it's there. So I grabbed it, and that was, I don't know, a couple months ago. So I'm just in that building playlist mode. And I actually started a Spike's Radio X throwback, like, podcast or thing. And it's, I'm freaking that thing out, because I have it up, actually. I wanted to, because we'll talk about music in a little bit, but you're going from like Hum, James Kolchaka, Ben Folds 5, Modest Mouse, and then it starts throwing in Christian rock and stuff. So this thing's just like, boom.
But it keeps up pretty well. It kind of anticipates. It starts to read your mind, which is spooky. And I talked about this on a previous episode, but it is so far as like services that stream music, Spotify for some reason gets into my brain really well, and it creeps me out. But otherwise it's a kind of a good kind of creep out, I guess. I'm
having a lot of fun tricking, like finding songs that we played at Radio X that never made Spotify, though. There is one. And I was really surprised. And maybe, you guys, do you remember Gay Dad?
What one was it?
What one?
Gay Dad. The song was Joy.
No.
It's not on Spotify. Yeah, it's not on Spotify. And I was blown away. I'm like, it wasn't that, like, I mean, it was a CMJ, like, artist, but it does not. I don't know if there's like a copyright issue or something happened, but Gay Dad is on there, but Joy is not on there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Get him on the show and ask.
It's probably
now I'm heading out to the internet, and I'm like, you guys can see me on camera. I'm like, Gay Dad band. Let's see what comes up on Google. Oh, it pops right up with Gay Dad rock band.
Yeah.
Don't hit images.
English.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I have a funny, totally non sequitur from what we're talking about. I have a good friend of mine who, and he listens to this podcast, and I've never told this story, so I won't say his name, but he runs an ad agency here in the Tri-City area where I'm at. And in the early-ish days of the internet, him and another one of my coworkers worked together. He was the owner, and the other guy was the videographer. So, and he's an avid golfer. So he was getting ready to go golf later on that week, and he was wanting some new clubs. So he was looking for clubs, and he typed in dicks.com. And this is in the days of pop-ups, when pop-ups were really bad and you couldn't get rid of, they would come up faster than you could get rid of them. So he goes searching. He's looking for dicksportinggoods.com. Of course.
Yeah.
But he doesn't put that in. He put in dicks.com. And well, he got exactly what he looked for.
Yeah,
he got exactly what he typed in. And the pop-ups just kept coming. He couldn't close them fast enough. And the guy who worked for him, who's also a coworker of mine now, walked in the middle of this, and he's like, "So busy?" He's like, "Shut up! I'm
dicks. I'm looking for dicks.
I'm looking for golf clubs. At Dick's." He's like, "Well, I think you found what you're looking for there, buddy."
Wrong shaft.
And so, yeah, so that one is definitely not made of graphite. I'm telling you that right now. But that one is shaped like a club, so good luck.
All right.
I have a side story on that one too. I worked at a newspaper, and I live outside of the Detroit area, so I don't get Detroit sports sometimes, and I wanted to watch a Red Wings game. So I found a semi not proper website that would, show those games. So I would have like Red Wings on while I'm at work, and some guy wanted to watch, I think it was a Mayweather fight. And I told him, I'm like, just type this in and here you go. Well, I have pop-up blockers on my computer. He did not. And he's, Jesus Christ, AsianBrides.com. What the hell are you sending me to?
I didn't want to tell you. I figured sending you a link would be an easier way to get the point across.
I hear that one every time. Yes, I felt bad for him, but that's the way things go.
But not that bad.
No, makes for a good story. So, Spike, since you're a beer aficionado, what are you drinking?
My own. This is a...
Really?
Yeah. I've been homebrewing for about 10 years as well. So this is a Michigan hop pale ale. So all the hops were grown in Michigan at some small hop farms around, our area, which is would be southeastern Michigan. And there's a hop producer there that, takes them off the field, pelletizes them, and they let me try a few of them. So
wow.
I know this is my tap system right there. You can see all the beer.
Hey.
So, yeah. Whoops.
Wow, that's quite the kegerator you got there.
we call them Keezers because it's a freezer. Keezers.
Oh,
because it's a freezer. That's a kegerator. So yeah, that's I have
catchy.
7 beers on tap, 3 on the outside, 1 on the inside, and then I got a fridge full of beer too. But that's all work related.
Holy moly! That beer is work related. So Jace, Spike he does that. What is it called? On tap? What is that thing?
Yeah, what is that?
People use?
Oh,
you're
Untap.
on that app.
Yeah.
Untapped.
So I see him on Twitter doing the Untap thing, and today it was like every minute and a half there was another beer that he was drinking, and I'm like, he must be pre-gaming for the podcast. But it turns out it's not as exciting. He was just loading some old drinks that he did previously. But it was like, John's drinking this. Now John's drinking this. Now John's drinking this. And I was like, whoa, you cannot possibly have finished the first one.
Now John's
that was last
out.
night when we were doing that.
Yeah.
I think the first time I checked in, when I think of the app started around I think it's our 11th anniversary, but I started a few years after that. So I was checking in old beers that I knew off the top of my head. I'm like, yeah, I've had this. Yeah, I've had this. Yeah, I've had that. And it said, slow down. Yeah. Do you need a cab?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that it does that.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
So that was pretty neat.
So now, since we're just all over the place.
Yeah.
So when it comes to beers, I'm not a super big aficionado. I mean, I know there's IPAs and there's a zillion types in the world of IPAs.
Right.
But are you more of a fan of the lights or the darks? That's a
loaded question right there, sir.
Yeah. Beers.
Yeah, actually,
myself, I like the darks myself when it comes to beer. The darker and heavier beers.
Yeah,
like Guinness.
Yes, like Guinness.
Well, actually,
heavy beer.
No, it's actually light. It's only like 4.5%. It's kind of like a Bud Light. really. Goodness is.
But it's like a viscously heavy, isn't it? Like thick.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've
I don't
had
drink.
I know you don't.
The
I've
But
taste
it's fun to
is,
listen
like,
to you
people-
squirm.
People would say, like, people, us normies beer drinkers who drink
Mhm.
Miller Lite and Coors Light and crap like that, cheap, cold, and domestic. A Guinness is considered a darker tasting, heavier beer. In the world of
Right.
beers, it's really on the low end of those type of beers.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for me, I actually do like things that are like big and boozy. 9% Scotch ales, barley wines. Yeah, it's just stuff you can sip. Like, I mean, I have a 10% Belgian triple that I made with saffron that my wife really likes, and so it has to be on tap at all time. So stuff that you can sip, and I'm not one. I did the whole drink as much as you can until you forget that you drank all of it that night. I'd rather just have a few beers and enjoy them, hang out with friends, try different things. I like the flavors. I don't like the hangovers, so I try to stay away from doing that.
Yeah, beer. That type of beer stuff has become more of a social activity anymore. It's as much about the social activity as it is about the drinking of it. Like, people have book clubs, people have wine clubs, and now there's beer clubs, and they get together and do it. I in those, I like I can't remember who the brewer is, but there's one called Poet. Is that I like
New Holland in Kalamazoo? Yeah, or
Okay.
no, New Holland
Yeah.
in New Holland, right? Isn't that? It's like west of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
It's over there on the Bible Belt side of Michigan,
The Dutch side,
which is funny because that's where most of the breweries are. We were just up at we were in Bel Air.
Yep,
Shorts.
Yep.
We're at Shorts, and I can't remember the name of any of them that I had there, but they were all very good.
Yeah.
There was one that was a little and then we were at a place called B something, is a meadery across the
Bee
street.
Nectar.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had some pretty good stuff over there. Mead is kind of it's an acquired taste, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
Meadery, not meatery.
No, not a meatery.
I was like, why were you at
I think
like
those
a
are things now too. Though.
slaughterhouse?
Yeah, it was. Oh, you thought slaughterhouse. I think meadery, and I think, like the Shamrock back in the college days.
Like a nightclub, yeah.
Yeah. Which, Spike, didn't you work at the Shamrock too?
I was a DJ at the Shamrock. Yep.
I thought so.
That was
fantastic.
my cousin was friends with the owner's son, and so I knew them kind of growing up a little bit, and so I just started going there, and I was actually working at TV6. So even though I wasn't 21 yet, I was hanging out with 25-year-olds, and I would go with the weekend crew and hang out on the deck and stuff like that. So one day they're just like, "Hey, we need someone to fill in to DJ," and I'm like, "Well, I know how to use a CD player." So started doing that, and probably for like about I was underage when I started, and I do remember having Nancy Berglund card me on my birthday, and she was very mad because I was an employee of hers that had been working there underage for a while.
I love
And
that.
she had no idea.
She had no idea. She didn't, it was just because, DJs weren't like on the payroll. You were just handed some cash at the end of the night. Yeah. So, and, I was pouring beers and stuff. So, I mean, I'd go behind. If they needed a bouncer, I'd help bounce. If they needed someone to check IDs, I was checking people's IDs that were older than me. Clean up at the end of the night. It was a great job. And I've always been in favor of, like, if you're going to go to college and need a good job, I mean, work at a bar, because you're basically having fun anyway, and you actually get paid for it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
true.
the big question, though, working at the Shamrock is, did you meet Bastion Booger?
Mike Shaw, yep. He was actually, speaking of going back, he worked at 970 AM as well. He wanted to get into radio after his professional wrestling career. And it was, it's like not funny, but like, because he's such a big guy, trying to watch him take a CD out of a jewel case and put it into a CD player, because he's just got meat hooks for hands. And, imagine, you're trying to pull those things up and you get stuck in the middle, and then you're pushing on it and the little thing to pop it up. It doesn't work when your finger covers half of the CD case. or so your pop. It was, but he worked there too.
So, folks out there, if you don't know who we're talking about, his name is Mike Shaw, and he was in the WWF at the time. It wasn't the WWE then, and he was Bastion Booger. He was also, if I remember correctly, he was Norman the Lunatic, wasn't he?
In WCW.
Who picks his names?
I don't
know. He was a heel, not a kayfabe. I think that's how it goes. I don't have all my wrestling lingo down.
Face and heel.
Face and heel. That's it.
Yeah.
Bastion Booger.
Yeah, and he was just gross.
I got bounced by him. That's my claim to fame. I got bounced out of the bar by him once.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't put up much of a fight, trust me.
No. But yeah, I had a great time working at the Shamrock, and I met, again, it wasn't my class of people in air quotes. I wasn't the big playing the music I was playing was not the music that I was like, yeah, I'm happy to be playing Ricky Martin.
Sure.
And, I'd throw
repeatedly
and Britney Spears and Black and all that, Jay-Z. Was Jay-Z around that? Yeah. I have some of those mixes and I had a good time. But, unfortunately, I felt like I lost myself in that stuff because I was listening to it so much because I had to know,
right.
Because you're trying to be a real mix DJ and like, okay, what song's going to come next? Who's going to keep them on the dance floor? And all that kind of stuff. That got fun to learn, but and it made me appreciate a lot of the guys that were doing things like that at Radio X, where they were trying to have dance party type stuff. Was it Tuesday nights or Saturday nights? I'm trying to remember. Like when Walt and
Techno Tuesday.
Oh, it's
Techno.
Techno.
No,
it wasn't Techno Tuesday. No. That was Thrash and Trash Tuesday, dork.
Techno Wednesday.
It was because wasn't. It was Electronic Wednesdays. It wasn't techno. It went by Electronic Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
It was Punk Mondays, Thrash and Trash Tuesday, Electronic Wednesday, R&B Thursday, Classic Rock Friday. Friday's the one Friday. I can't remember. Casual Friday, I guess. And then it was All Request Saturday night, and then Sunday was whatever.
Mishmash, yeah.
Potpourri.
Yeah. It was Dino Don on Sundays. That was.
It was
Dino. And
that was one of my
and Crazy Dave.
Yes.
Yep. I think Sunday was this. Right before. I think I did Sunday. I'm pretty sure Sunday noon to 3 or 2 to 4 or something like that was one of my first shifts. And then I don't know. I remember Bridget making that joke when you guys were talking to her about just trying to get me out of the studio because it felt like I was on. Did I go to school?
You were there all the time.
Did I go to school?
You were there all the time.
Is that why I had a 2.5 in my major?
You were in broadcast journalism, 2.5. That might as well be a 4.0. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So going into Radio X from your previous experience with radio, what was like? Can you name one or two artists that you were exposed to that just kind of broke your concept of what you were listening to before? Like, is there any one particular or two particular artists or songs that stick out that make you say, well, when this happened, my world changed?
Whatever. Is it Pressure Drop? Rudy was playing that a lot.
Yes. For me, it was a Rude Dog song too. It was him playing Fish. I had never heard Fish before.
Yep.
And he was playing Fish, and I was like, this is something so different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he
never heard Fish before?
The specials, Pressure Drop, right? Wasn't that who it was?
That's the Specials.
Specials, yeah. I think that was because I want to say I was on after Rudy, so that's how I think he always ended his show with something like that. So that's how that was one of those songs that I always knew. And then, man, it's weird. Like first songs, I'm trying to remember. I just remember there being such an exposure to so many styles of music and I don't think I was ever non-receptive to it. I think I might not have played it, but I was definitely listening to it. Because, all this afternoon, I've been texting you guys and videos and stuff of like all the tapes I found. And I was listening to one and it was all Christian rock, and this is when me and Tarzan were doing, and it was like one of the first mid-afternoon
Oh my
shows.
gosh,
Tarzan!
Derek, I remember him.
Yes.
I played hockey with him. I was terrible. He was pretty good.
Yeah. He was my friend since 7th grade. So that's how, he just kind of was like, okay, if you're going to do this, I'm going to do this too. So, we actually were on 970 AM together, and we just moved over to Radio X after that. So,
Wow.
Yeah, he just, and then I think he ended up doing his own show for a while, and then he got a girlfriend, and that was more important than anything I was doing or Radio X was doing. And they're still married, have kids. So, hey,
it happens.
Oh, there you go.
Worked.
Perfect. It worked. So yeah, I was really jealous when you were showing me all the tapes that you still have, because that's one of my, like, I wish that I had kept that stuff.
Same.
And when I moved to Las Vegas, I had a car that basically I was going to load up the car and drive to Las Vegas to meet up with Mindy, because she was already there. And the car, went to go get a tune-up, I guess is what you got back then. And they basically looked it over, and they were like, this is not going to make it to Vegas. And my heart just sank. I was like, come on, how far would it make it? Like, would I be close to Vegas? And they were like, yeah, we cannot recommend that you take this car. I was so mad, because I just basically, what I ended up having to do is, instead of,
Was it that craptacular Grand Prix that you had? That blue
no,
car?
it was, at that point, it was a Saturn. I think it was a little black Saturn, or blue, navy blue. I don't remember what color, but it wasn't going to make it to Vegas. So instead of driving everything out, I had to fly out and basically cut my losses on so many things. That car I put up for sale, the trunk was full of cassette tapes, and they got lost.
Not that we can't go back. We can't go back in time. Literally, I lived 50 minutes from you. 50.
It would have felt weird to say, hey, can you come get my cassette tapes?
Matt, of all the
Dude,
weird
we're all in radio.
conversations, yeah,
That's a good point. In hindsight,
that we've had. I know.
Come on. It's a valid point, but in the moment, I was like, I got rid of record albums.
Oh,
Yeah, all the 45s that we stole. I mean, leveraged out of that
Exactly.
basement of that old radio station.
Yeah, they are. I left those in a storage room in my old apartment. They might still be there, but I had to like cut a bunch.
It was
of
in
stuff, and
Flint, so it's very possible that they're still there.
I know they took all the copper out of all the pipes in that apartment complex, but they probably didn't take the record albums.
They probably just use them to do coke off of now anyway.
So I used to have many mixes of shows, and I now have zero. I have one cassette I found that it's just labeled Radio X liners, that once I get a cassette player, I'm going to have to listen and see if there's anything on it. But other than that, I'm just really sad I don't have anything.
I found one cassette.
Okay.
And if I had it near me, I would read off some of the songs that were on it, because I actually wrote down what was on it.
That's smart.
I don't have a cassette deck to play it on. So I have one in the garage, but I put in, this is going to sound funny. This is how nerdy we are.
Yeah.
Instead of putting that cassette in and ruining that one, I had an old GNR Lies cassette.
Yes. Good.
So
thinking.
I put the GNR Lies cassette in there, and it like goes in, the first song is, they do Aerosmith's cover of Mama Kid, and instead of "this song's about your fucking mother," it's like "this song's about your." I was like, yeah, not going to use this one to my recorded show, and I got to find a good cassette deck so I don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Are
you have
even
like
able
20
to do
or
that?
something.
Like, can you
Say
buy
that
again?
can you buy those at all? Even tape players
know.
anymore?
Yeah, you can. It's the funny thing is, this whole, in the world of music, like LPs, records are a thing, and they have been now for probably close to 10 years on and off.
Yeah.
But physical copies are becoming a thing again. Like, people are going to secondhand stores and snatching up CDs, records, and cassette tapes.
Right.
Cool.
Cassette
So
tapes.
they're out
Wow.
there. It's just that you just don't find them like you used to. I mean, you could go on Amazon and buy damn near anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You send an order into China, they'll pretty much make you whatever you want and send it back for $30. It might take 4 years to get here, but they'll ship it to you.
Yep.
So the cool thing about having all those tapes, regardless of the music, is you probably have some of those liners and stuff. And just hearing like yourself 20 some years earlier, talking is probably just a trip, right?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I found my Spike Chiquet debut because I went by Spike the first like 2 years, and then they at the radio station I was at, they said everyone needs to have a quote unquote DJ name. So if you have a first name, you have to have a last name. And so actually, you'll have, if you ever get a chance to talk to Kent the DJ that cares, ask him what his radio name was at Edge Radio 970, where he also worked. There's something to write down and talk about. I'm calling Kent out on that one. It's nothing bad. I mean, it's funny because
oh no, it's just we're kids,
right? And so I actually listened to it this afternoon, and I did not realize how much I have lost my Yooper accent unintentionally, like just from hearing yourself talk, listening to me in 1994, it's just, it wasn't, I never had the thick Yooper West Ishpeming accent. It was always more of a modern Yooper accent, but holy cow, you can really dust it out if you want to and talk about the backs of Strohs, if you want to go out there. Yeah, I would go out for, some trout. So it wasn't never that bad. But it had those inflections of Yupanese in it, and to be able to hear that I don't do that anymore. I don't know if it's sad, it's like that's my heritage. I grew up there, but
sure,
but I've been in broadcasting on and off, pretty much since I started, pre Radio X and through Radio X. Like I've never not been a part of some broadcasting company or something.
It's amazing. It's pretty cool.
Now I can tell you that I know Spike. I know you worked at the X and you worked at the other radio station. You also worked at WNMU, didn't you?
Public Radio 90, WNMU FM, Marquette.
I was waiting to see if anybody else would remember that. Public Radio 90, not 9D. There's no D in it. 90, 90.
My wife still has
that
me
right
do that
there
for people.
That right there carried over. That and W. Not W, W, W. So when I worked at WSGW here in Saginaw, 790 AM, WSGW, I would enunciate that all the time. And I was one of the few people there that did it. But our program director, Dave Maurer, pointed that out. He's like, wow, you do that correctly. And I was like, yep, because I never worked at Public Radio 90.
I was trained.
But didn't? I remember. No, I didn't. I was one of the few who didn't. But I remember hearing from like you, Rudy. Gosh, I cannot remember the girl.
Carson, Tanya,
Jen Carson, Tanya, Tanya's. There was another Kim. Kim DeMarc. Yes, Kim DeMarc. That was the one. I just remember her going off in class one day about that to Chuck.
Really?
Yes, it was. Well, you had to. If did you know Kim, Matt? I mean, I didn't know her well.
I kind of remember the name, but I don't remember her.
But yeah, she was an interesting person. She
so
was never
they drilled into your head.
She was an interesting person.
They drilled into your head to enunciate, but they couldn't get you to not say shit on the radio.
Yeah. Well, I was just like I said, I didn't work at public radio. Had I said shit at public radio, I probably wouldn't have graduated.
That's true.
I have great, because I was working at public radio doing the weekend edition, not morning edition, weekend edition, which starts at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. And I would work at the Shamrock until 2 a.m. and then usually stay up, have a few beers on the deck, maybe, eventually go to Taco Bell, get something to eat, or McDonald's or whatever was open. And then I would go and take a nap on the floor at Public Radio 90 with an egg timer, because you only have X amount of times between breaks. The national window would run, and I would take a nap during that time. So I would know how long I had, and I would set an egg timer, lay on the floor, take a nap, wake up just in time to be like, "You're listening to Public Radio 90 WNMU FM Marquette. The time is now 6:24. It is 27 degrees outside. You're listening to Weekend Edition." Like right back to it, and yep.
I interviewed at public radio, and the reason they did offer me a job, but the reason I didn't take it is for the exact same thing you're talking about right there, is because at that point in time, there was no way on God's green earth you were getting my ass up that early in the morning. Wasn't happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
Yes. So
I remember when I worked at the oldie station, I would have to do that, and I would run in circles through the offices to stay awake so that I wouldn't fall asleep. Because if I sat in the booth and waited to replace the carts after they got pulled by the satellite, if I sat there for too long, I would be out. So I would get up, do jumping jacks, run in circles through the office, anything to not fall asleep, because then you were in trouble. Because it would be dead air, and then it would call whoever the boss was. They would get a phone call, or they would get a page or something saying dead air, and then they would be like, what's going on? So it was terrifying.
It's Fox 103. Nobody's listening. Don't worry.
There were a few people.
Yeah.
I just remember
the guy's name that worked there.
Going over to Fox 103 and like to get a cart to play. They didn't take the satellite tones correctly, at least not for all of them. So you would like have to flip this, turn this up, push this card in at the right time, so it would, and then hit play.
Yeah,
and it would do it. And then to get back in, you'd have to go the other way to get back into programming.
Oh, geez.
It is kind of fun that we use carts. I mean, that's just really fantastic.
Was it though? Was it
Kind
really
of.
fun? I mean, it's fun from a historical perspective, but
yeah.
I was just explaining. My son has just turned 9 last week, and I was explaining to him how a radio station used to work versus how a radio station now works. Because obviously he sees the radio station that I work part-time at right now, and it's 3 rooms with computers in it. And before, that's not what production looked like. And so I actually played him an old tape of myself recording live. When at 970, what we had was 2 CD players, a triple cart deck stack in the middle, and so, in a mic. So I'd have everything potted up that I needed to do. And I would, do read to live commercial breaks where you're producing it in right on. So you don't have to like sit there and actually like do everything. You're doing basically audio, tracking, but you're doing it all at the same time, that kind of stuff. And I was explaining to my son, like, okay, you hear how I'm actually hitting the buttons, as I'm talking and doing this. And then, I had the raw version so he could hear me screw up. And he's just laughing and cracking up at it.
That's great.
And I'm like, this is how it used to be. Now you just talk into a microphone and then you throw all your tracks in there, and it's so much easier.
See, that's another thing that I wish that I had kept, because when I worked at Fox 103 and all those stations, when I was working in commercial radio and I was making commercial after commercial after commercial, we screwed up all the time. And there were so many hilarious bloopers that I saved forever. Like I was like, well, this is going in the blooper reel, because it was so funny, the things that we would mess up and say wrong. And I don't have that anymore either. Like, it's really sad that there was all this stuff that in my head, I was like, when I have kids, they're going to get a kick out of listening to all these stupid things we did. And now I've got zilch. It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So, all right. What else do we got as far as music? What other songs, what other artists made you think? Do you hear stuff now that like makes you, because a lot of the music I think is similar.
What do you mean similar?
Well, like some of the same artists that were. Can you hear me? I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay.
What did you mean by similar?
So say for example, Stone Temple Pilots, just off the top of my head, they're still putting out music.
Yeah.
So are there artists that you hear now on current radio that make you think of your time working at Radio X, or are there songs that remind you of moments that you had when you were in college radio?
I have one right now that reminds me of Spike's time working at Radio X.
Oh, okay.
One band right now that reminds, and I actually wrote it down. It's one of the bands. Like, if you asked me about music that I would attribute to Spike back in the day at Radio X, this is one of the bands. This is how I learned who they were, and it's the band Skillet.
Skillet.
Yes.
Yeah, love them or hate them now. They started out as an alt rock, essentially college radio friendly, Christian, grungy type band. And this would have been like 96-ish when their first record
97,
hit.
98, somewhere in there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember they were a 3-piece.
Yeah. The song I wrote down was Gasoline
Yep.
by
I don't know
Skillet.
that one.
And it was I remember here, I don't know if it ever charted because it was CMJ had a Christian rock chart, didn't they? I know HM did. I think I got that right.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember if CMJ ever did Christian. I was reporting to the Pure Rock Report, is what it was called.
That's
at the
it,
time.
Pure Rock Report.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was a charting member, and the only reason I moved over is because I took over the spot that 970 had when it came to charting. So because I just moved over stations, so they stuck with me. Yeah, so I mean, I have every chart. I have this book somewhere. I gave it to my radio station because we have a classic stream, and I'm like, I'm more than happy. I'm almost 45. Well, I just turned 44. Almost 45 years old, and I have all this, crappy, stupid Christian rock music knowledge from the 90s. Like, put me to work. And
Right.
And unfortunately, my program director, station manager, or general manager, whatever his title is right now, he has been at that radio station since like 92. So he's just like, yeah, I know that crap too.
Got it.
So
You're like, dang it, my hook. You took my hook.
So I'm fairly useless, and I've just become, like I call myself the ghost of the radio station because I go in at night. No one ever sees me. I just voice track. But I'm on 6 days a week. I'm just a part-time DJ there though. So it's just it's an opportunity to just, keep doing what I'm doing.
Stay in the game. Right.
Yeah.
I get that totally. Do you like voice tracking?
I relish the live time that I get. That is for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could do more with the voice tracking that I do. I wish I could have more interaction. Everything now is, tweet us or text us and we'll respond to you. And since I'm on 9 to midnight, I really don't want to be in front of texting random people at 9 to midnight. So I'm okay with because with the time slot that I'm doing now. I was 6 to 9. They wanted to put someone in live, which I understand. They want that live element. So they found we have 2 studios, one in Lima, Ohio, and then I'm in the Toledo, Ohio one. And they, they are able to have live element then. So I'm just like, you know what, that's fine. I'll do that. But I'll go in on Saturday afternoons, and if there's a DJ out doing a remote, then I'd be happy more to run the board because then I get to play. I get people calling in. I get to do music tests. We ask people what they think about songs. I get to, give away stuff. It's now obviously it's a programmed slot. All the music's already there for me, but that doesn't mean I can't just turn off one of the songs and add something else in there. Do I get an email later? Yes. Do I care? No, because I'm playing what I want to play. It has that live element and feel to it.
Yeah. It's not like you're playing AC/DC.
No, that's not in the system.
That's not in the system.
I've been known to just open up YouTube and start running stuff, which is that illegal? I don't know.
Well, your station's paying ASCAP and BMI, so where you play it from probably doesn't matter.
Yeah,
probably not.
No,
it's still getting recorded down and getting paid. So
yeah, exactly. So I've been known to do that as well, and I like being able to actually produce the show instead of just being a this is, that was, here is, that kind of crap.
Yes.
I do enjoy it. There's things that tie it together. That's what you're doing as a disc jockey on-air personality, which is an art that Matt and I bitch about constantly that is lost in most radio people. They don't know how to tie a block of songs together or a portion of a show or even an entire hour.
Yes.
God, don't ask a lot of them to do an hour. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves.
No, I tell every and DJ that comes in there that's new and doesn't have, because we'll hire people that don't have radio experience just because it's a part-time and it's hard to hire part-time people with experience. So I'll tell them like, just because you're recording doesn't mean it should take you 5 minutes to record an hour. Just because you're on 30 seconds at a time, like you should have, I have a notebook. I mean, I'm old school, man. I write down my breaks, what I'm going to talk about, even if it's just a quick note. And it's even if I know that, I'm coming out of a Skillet song and I'm going into a Toby Mac song or something like that. okay, what, check Toby's Instagram. I know Skillet's got a new album out. Talk about those things. Hell, I can find stuff on Instagram that they're posting on Reels and run that as a part of here's what they just said about, their concert in Kansas City. That's stuff that I try to get our DJs to think more about. And I'm really appreciative. We have a guy that's actually the producer for the John Tesh show. That is our morning drive guy right now. He's from the Toledo area, and he was in LA. He was streaming into LA, on Saturday afternoons, 7 a.m. for him, 10 a.m. for us, and doing a 5-hour live shift. And I've learned so much from him. His name's Chris Shannon. He's a phenomenal guy. And he's back in town just to, kind of help us out in this time. So it's cool to be able to do live radio, even though I'm not doing live radio all the time.
Right. No, that's true. I totally understand that. You guys, I have sort of a random philosophical question that I want to ask both of you.
Is this the robots thing before we started recording? Okay, good. Because that's not really
Should there be a robot marriage? No. Okay. My actual question.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a robot that wants a baby, right? Or an AI that wants a baby.
I did hear about that.
What? No, hold on. You don't leave me hanging. What are you talking about?
Not a robot, an artificial intelligence, right?
Well, okay.
She has a humanoid shape.
In my simpleton mind, AI, robot, same thing.
She's one of those really lifelike cyborg things that are going to take over the world. Skynet made.
Mm-hmm.
She's achieved her own thoughts and she wants to have a child. I don't know the whole story. I saw the article and thought, well, I can't read this because I won't be able to sleep tonight. But basically, you'll have to Google it and find out.
So Boston Dynamics is all over this then.
Yeah.
Sorry, we don't have a baby yet, but we have a dog with a gun on its back. Are you interested in one of those?
She wants a baby and she can parkour better than a human. So anyway, point is, here's my philosophical discussion. I was listening to NPR the other day, and they were talking about the Velvet Underground. I'm not a huge fan. I like a lot of their music, but I'm not like a obsessive fan. So it got me thinking. They were saying that the Velvet Underground, one of the more influential bands for current artists, for modern rock, for the world of music today. And it got me thinking more in broad strokes. And this is nothing, no disrespect to Velvet Underground, but it got me thinking of this philosophical musical question. Is creativity a talent? Do you consider creativity a talent, or can someone be creative and not talented? Discuss.
Yeah, I think you can be not talented and be creative. I think of, it sounds so terrible, my child comes up with a lot of creative things. It doesn't mean he's good at any of it.
Okay, but in the world of music,
somebody who has kids, I can second that.
I'm talking about in the world of music. So, like, say you're not a songwriter, you're not a singer, you're not great at a instrument, but maybe you're proficient. You could be theoretically.
I feel like you're talking about me now.
No, not at all. I'm talking about Velvet Underground, and again, this is where people are going to get mad at me. But Velvet Underground, to me, is not a tremendously talented band in any, like, I wouldn't say any one of them would be considered in the top 10 of any of their instruments or songwriting or singing. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But they have such influence in the future of music. So in that case, it feels like they have more creativity than actual talent. Like, those two things are individually exclusive. Would you agree with that assessment? Or, I know it's a weird thought, but that's just got me thinking about it.
Well, I'll be up all night tonight.
There's so many ways to go with that. I feel like I know some Velvet Underground stuff, but I'm not a huge Velvet Underground fan.
Right.
Matter of fact, a lot of people say they're the group that launched 1 million bands.
Yeah, but they themselves were not amazing.
No, and they were. I don't know if they were famous because they were musicians or they're famous because they were the Velvet Underground. And I think you guys know what I mean by that.
Well, they did things that no one else did at that time.
And a couple cool people, influential people went, do you know who this is? And then
Right.
people went, oh, I should know who this is.
Right.
And so on and so on. And I think the Velvet Underground is one of those groups that people, they say it because they know it will give them some sort of cred or gravitas with other music people, whether they actually like them or not.
Do you think specifically to that band, then they were just more of a right place, right time? They knew the right people. They were at the right shows. They were showcased by the right artists. And then therefore they became influential, not because they were really any good, but more eyeballs saw them at the right time in musical history. This is getting deep. And I'm not even
they might have just they might. Yeah, I think there is a time and place, obviously, to everything. I'm thinking when you're talking Velvet Underground, the other ones that pop into my head are the Smiths, because it's like I never really like I understand the Smiths and I hear them. But
Jesus head exploded.
I like the Smiths a lot.
I know, but like, is it? Are they in that same realm where it's like it's cool? Like, yes, their music is cool, but at the same time, like when I first heard them, I was like, is this just to say I'm cool, like to say I like them, or do I really get it? And I think I would enjoy them now more than I would when I was 20. And I'm trying to think. There was another band that popped in my head while you were talking about that. The Smiths,
the New York Dolls comes
Cure.
to mind.
The Cure was the other one.
Oh, Spike! Now you're just
now. See,
like
I would say the
me.
Cure, as far as songwriting, there's talent there. Maybe not necessarily great singing, maybe not necessarily great instrument playing, but there is some good songwriting. And Morrissey, as much as he is bizarre in his songwriting, it was certainly a captivating style that he stuck with for a long time. I would think for what he was doing, it was different and it was unique, and he had a style that was, I would say, was a talent, even though it wasn't what would be considered maybe a mainstream talent. But yeah, New York Dolls, that would be another one. I don't think that they were the most talented band in the world, for sure.
I think a lot of these groups that we're talking about, I'm going to go with they were very talented. And for what the talent they didn't have to physically make the music, they were creative with what they could make. And like the Smiths, I didn't get into the Smiths because I heard There's a Light That Never Goes Out, and I'm like, ooh, I just love that song.
Girlfriend,
how I got it. Yeah, because my girlfriend was in a coma, so I heard a song about it, and I wanted to hang the DJ. We could just play name Smith songs, I guess. I don't know.
But if we did, you would realize that they're not really great at songwriting. But let's continue.
I got into them, one, because people who I thought were cool said, hey, have you heard of the Smiths? So I went and listened to them.
Sure.
It was kind of like back in like now you have YouTube and Spotify, and they're like, well, if you like this, you might like this.
Yeah.
Well, before that, kids, there were magazines and CD liners and LP liners and all that stuff. And you would see a group that you liked possibly wearing a t-shirt that said the Ramones, but you didn't know who the Ramones were. So you went to the record store and found a Ramones album. Yeah. Because you thought, well, if that person likes them, then I should like them. And I went and found them out. But like with the Smiths, I like them because I dabble in playing guitar, and Johnny Marr has a very interesting and neat guitar sound.
That's fair. Yeah.
And that's kind of how, and plus, like, being in college radio, and when you're in college radio, you should like the Smiths, you should like the Cure, you should, I don't know, name all, those late 70s, early 80s London factory records type band, the Happy Mondays.
Oh yeah, like there you go. I would also like to point out that all of the artists we've mentioned have much more talent than I have.
Oh yeah.
So to be sure, I'm not trying to say they're untalented, because they're definitely more talented than me. However, it just made me think about the idea of creativity, if that is a talent, and if creativity can be cultivated or practiced like any other talent, like guitar skill or like singing or those sorts of things. You can take a talent and improve upon it and make it better with practice or with just, monotony routine. But but can creativity be something that is considered a talent, or is it in and of itself something different? I think it's different.
I think when you say that way, you have to be born creative. I don't consider myself creative, which is probably why I never gravitated towards any artistic thing. Like I could play bass. I played bass in college and then I just gave up. But it's just like, it's like a sports skill. Like you either know kind of like especially the great ones. Yes, they have to work towards it, but they're cultivating that creativity or cultivating that talent. I don't think you can take your creativity and make it better. You're just either have it or not. I guess that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Like there are plenty of guitarists who can just rip on guitar.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a talent. That's a practiced talent thing you can learn to do. Not everybody, but a lot of people can do it. But the creative ones can rip and then put what they know into something that sounds like something else and make a song out of those things that they're doing.
Sure.
That's probably where you bridge the gap with that type of thing.
Yep.
So would you take someone like Olivia Rodrigo, for example, just off the top
Here we
of my
go.
head? Would you say that she is extremely talented, or would you say that she is more creative?
I would say she has,
keeping in mind
talent.
she's copied a bunch of other songs for her songs. Would you say that she's more creative or more talented?
I would
Jace,
say
you go
she's
first.
talented, and producers got a hold of a talented young lady and said, let's do these things. And she went, I'll cash the check. Let's go.
Fair enough. I mean, again, she's still far more talented than me. So
The driver's license song is great. Shut up. I don't care what you say.
I'm sure she's listening. So I just want to point out that you are a super fan, and I have nothing against her personally. I'm just not as much of a fan as you are. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to solidify my point here.
Spike, enough about our thoughts about Olivia Rodrigo. What are your thoughts about Olivia Rodrigo?
Hold on. Google. Who is Olivia? Olivia.
Close
Rodrigo.
enough.
Oliver Rodriguez was a 72 catcher for the New York Mets. What? I don't know.
There's talent right there. That's talent. And
Spoken like a 45-year-old man.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Whenever I'm listening to your guys' podcast, I'm usually driving, which means I can't stop and look things
Google
up that
things.
you're talking about when it comes to new music from the last 20 years. Because if you want to know anything about Christian hip hop, I'm your man right now because I actually play all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if it comes to pop music right now, I am in a void. I actually just watched the Dave Chappelle thing, the new Netflix thing, to see what the hype was about.
oh yeah.
And he brought up, this was recorded, I think, in August. And he was talking about DaBaby. Do you know?
Right.
DaBaby, yes.
Yes.
DaBaby,
And I did not. I had to pause DaBaby, who is no idea whatsoever. My son is not pop music fluent. He doesn't listen. He listens to it. I'm listening to it in the car. And so he's not radio. He knows they do have you heard of Friday Night Funkin', the video game?
No.
It's Dance Revolution for your fingers. It's a rap battle. It's a rap battle between this guy named Boyfriend, who he wants to be for Halloween, and random characters from the underworld. And I think they're trying to vie for the soul of his girlfriend. But there's a whole backstory that my kid just hits the space bar and skips it.
Question over here.
Yes, sir. In the gray hair.
So
over
is
there.
this? Yeah, the gray hair and the black T-shirt that says "If it's too loud, you're too old." So this Boyfriend, is this a video game or a person? What are we? What you lost me here.
I think it's a video game, right?
It's a video game. It's on. It's a download app called Friday Night Funkin', and instead of Dance Revolution where you're dancing on the keys, you're using your fingers to hit left, right, up, down. And there's no actual words. They're just going beep, bop, boop, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. And it's almost like a rap battle, and it gets faster and faster. And there's a bunch of different songs and stuff. So that's the kind of music I'm listening to when I'm home with my child, where he's just listening to. It's almost like techno music, But try.
So
check
Bromer
this.
would love this, is what you're saying. Bromer would have loved this.
Friday night Bromer.
It's
Friday
like
Night
the
Bromer.
devil went down to Georgia for R2D2.
So hold on. It sounds like what was that toy that we had? Oh, Simon.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Yeah.
You can't. I'm
Okay.
totally showing my son one of those. But yeah, that's when it comes to music though. Like he's not into the new stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. And I'll listen to like my presets are my station, sports talk radio, and the classic rock station, only because the alternative rock station got taken off and put on the HD2 channel. Otherwise, I would have been reveling in this, the 4 or 5 Nirvana songs that they play every hour.
Well, you can get that on the classic rock station these days now. Too.
That's
Don't
true
even
too.
say it.
Oh my gosh! I remember the first time I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" on the classic rock station. Almost drove into a pole.
Something's wrong with that. Something is wrong with that.
I was like, "Oh, it's not bad enough that the hair's gray and I don't even, fit into those ripped up jeans and those t-shirts anymore." But now it's on the classic rock station. Awesome,
Not
fantastic.
Cool, it's not cool.
Not cool. So we've kind of ventured all over the place.
All over.
Yeah.
All over. But I specifically wanted to get back to something Matt had asked about, if there was a band like then, now, that your mind working in what you work in. And I said, it was Skillet, because I remember one of the things that I remember from Spike is before I met him, when it came to Christian rock, it was pretty much Stryper, Petra, White Cross, a few of those hair metal-esque type, bands. In my head, if it was Christian metal, what was the old joke? They liked it Southern and they liked it shredding or something like that. There was an adage about that.
Oh, jeez.
And, but when Spike was playing his stuff, for as much as we gave him shit, and we gave him shit all the time about playing, being the Christian rock guy on the college radio station. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We gave you hell. I know we did. We did. But there was a bunch of bands, and the ones that stick out to me, the one that sticks out to me the most that's not metal is the OC Supertones and the Supertones Strike Back. That is still in my playlist to this day.
I am writing a lot of stuff down today.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that's the one I bring up. There's a couple of others, but that's the first one I bring up because like ska is making this huge comeback online.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you guys have noticed it. Like the ska, go check out like the Ska Tunes Network. There's this band that anybody who I can get to listen to them. They're called Catbite. They're fantastic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a podcast, Playlist Wars, that did a punk and ska covers episode.
Oh, really? Was there?
Yeah, you should check that out. It was really cool. I liked listening to it a lot.
I hear there was this guy that I know that was on it. But
yeah, he's awesome. By the way, we should have him on this show, and he had a really great playlist. I think his name is Matt. So anyway, you should check that out and vote for his playlist on Playlist Wars. Anyway,
and for full transparency, I voted for your playlist as many times as I possibly could.
Can you vote more than once?
And I got the people who in my family who could figure out how to vote for you too. Sorry, Brian and Gomez, if you lost. It's from the It's from the 4-tier coalition. We took down. We took over all the voting.
Fantastic.
And if you didn't win, Matt, somebody's got a bigger family than mine. Sorry.
A fair point. All right. Excellent.
So, but to go back to like, I kind of learned from listening to a lot of Spike stuff that there was more than what I thought. Like Christian contemporary music is not Amy Grant. I mean, it is correct. If you listen to it
is also Amy Grant.
Yeah, but it's not Amy Grant. It's there was one, and I'd probably not saying this right, but one of the other bands that stuck out was Grandma Train. I think I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. The song Jonah, which is I think is off their Flying album.
Yeah, yep, that sounds right.
Sixpence None the Richer.
Yep, Sixpence None the Richer was one. Goaty Hook is another one that sticks out to me that I remember being played.
Nice.
And there were tons more, but the other ones that. The one band, I'd heard of Tourniquet before I met Spike, but after he was like, listen to this and listen to this and listen to this. But I still, to this day, listen to Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance. Great album.
Rock.
Yeah.
Those guys, yeah.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah.
Oh, they do in the song. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But the one album that not only the Christian rock guy could listen to, and then, Jace the Ace on Thrash and Trash Tuesday, which I was never a one metal type of guy. I was probably, if you made me pick, I was hair metal and speed metal. That's what I like. Thrash, speed, and
you
hair
weren't
metal.
precious about your medals.
I was not. But, and then there was Nick the Crypt Keeper. The one band that all of us could agree on was Mortification, and the album Scrolls of the Megaloth. It's still I listened to it today. I went and listened to it today, and I was like, "Yep, still holds up. It's a fantastic album."
Yeah,
I never would have thought death metal, Christian metal. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's just delicious.
What was the album called again? Scrolls of the what?
Megaloth. I think I said that right.
My favorite role-playing game.
But yeah, those stick out. Those are the ones, like, if you ask me about Spike and you make me name music that I would attribute to Spike back in our Radio X days, those are probably the ones that stick out top of my head.
Well, that's cool. And that was the thing. And again, I had already been in radio, and I will 100% admit that I went in with the attitude of, and it had nothing to do with the Christian part. It was just, I wanted to be a radio professional at that point. I wanted, I wanted to have that possible job down the line. So I was professional as much as I thought I could be. And I think that might have turned some people off on the way that I would run my show and do things. And I tried to have fun. I think I noticed I probably had more fun as I got older, and I just had more fun, learned that I was having more fun there. I kind of went in, not with a chip on my shoulder, but just like, okay, I've already been doing this for a while. Go ahead and, listen to me, because I kind of know what I'm doing, which probably didn't, but you know what I mean? When you're 18, of course you're going to act that way.
Well, and I think that a lot of what not divided, but a lot of the things that were different between some DJs and other DJs is there are some DJs who did the research, like they did their homework. They knew the artists, they looked up like albums and histories and things, little anecdotes about the artists, and they really did research what they were talking about. And you always did that, at least from my listens and from my observations of you. That was something that you came prepared, like to whatever extent a college student could be, and even maybe a little more so. But you were learned about the artists that you played, and that was something that I think probably benefited you when you went into commercial radio, because that was kind of the style that you approached DJing with, is that I'm going to be playing this music. I have to be able to tell people, well, this band comprised of this person, they used to be in this other band, and you might like them from this other, like, that's something that not a lot of us really did. Like, I barely ever did that. And it showed, trust me. It forms a richer tapestry is what I'm trying to say. Like, it makes you seem like, as you said, like you wanted to know what you were doing. And that's, I think, to your credit, for sure.
Yeah. And, and then I got into a full-time radio job and realized that full-time radio is a job, and it wasn't as much fun as I thought it was. And so I enjoy it. I know, but now I honestly say I like radio is a fun hobby to be able to do on a part-time basis, and that's what I've been able to do now. Yes FM I've been with 10 years, like a week or two ago. And prior to that, I think I can't even count how many radio stations I've worked at part-time, just because it's always been like, oh, I'm living here, I can find a radio station. I worked in the back of a former strip club in Lafayette, Indiana, that got turned into a coffee shop that had a radio station. So I worked there part-time, awesome. Just like things like that just to be able to give me an opportunity to stay on the air. It was an LP, right across from Purdue University. And it was all voice tracked. I was barely ever live, but it was an opportunity to still just flex your muscles, do some stuff, talking to a microphone in an empty room, and pretend you're talking to people.
Very cool.
And I find that is something that a lot of us folks who got into radio were good at, is sitting in an empty room pretending we were talking to people.
I'm really good at that. Much more than talking to actual people.
When I'm talking by myself, the shows are fantastic. It's too bad nobody's listening to them.
Yeah. I would much prefer to talk in a room full of nobody than to talk in a room full of lots of people.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah. I think, the cool thing was with what we were able to do, even if we, clashed at times, I think we still, like, as a family of music nerds that were in a building, there definitely is. It's so great that this is something that we've been able to get back to doing and talking about and reminiscing and sharing stories. And my goodness, so just hearing some of these things that have been brought up have, and I think Jeff was talking about, like, he texts you while he's listening to the show, and I should do that more because there's so many times. Again, I'm driving most of the time because I'm talking to you guys through the entire show. It is, and it's so ridiculous how I wish it's like one of those where I'm like, like nerdily want to, like, write you a huge email and be like, well, this and this and this, and this is what Dave said, and this is what I wanted to say to this.
But actually,
well, and not even like, I just want to add to that story because I remember, like, talking about, like, the live shows that went on there. And, like, having Cry on Cue there, I wasn't there for that, but I always heard about the stories after the fact. The one thing that was the unfortunate part is I never got to be, like, ingrained into the Radio X crew because I was working 7 jobs at once because my mind, I wanted to become a professional something in broadcasting. And I think I limited myself in having as much fun as I probably could have. Trust me, I had tons of fun in college.
Right.
But it probably could have been even more fun, but I guess that means my GPA would have been even lower and it would have taken me another year and a half to graduate.
You were busy doing the actual thing that you wanted to do. And then there wasn't that much time. Yeah, that happens. So do you have any crazy stories that you remember that you want to talk about here?
Did you ever pick up a prisoner and drive them to Green Bay or Chicago? I mean, I hear some of our former coworkers did that.
That happens, yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I had some great experiences there. I'm trying to think of the PG ones.
Yeah, I think we all have a few X-rated, radio X-rated ones that we could talk about, but we'll leave that alone.
Well, you guys have to realize there's a backstory to why I kind of changed, and I know I changed over the time that I was there. I was engaged my freshman year of college.
That's right.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So I had my girlfriend all through high school. She was a freshman. I was a sophomore. We stayed together all through. So I was a freshman. She was a senior. We got engaged after her senior year. And so heading into my sophomore year of college, I was engaged. And then I realized, man, there's a lot of girls at NMU that I could
possibly make friends with.
Yes. And I made friends with some of them before I told my fiance that I was interested in being friends with other people.
It's winter a lot of the time there.
Got to stay warm, man, So yeah. And the other thing, and I got to meet a lot of people at Radio X that way. I got to meet a lot of people at NMU that way. So it was, I had a lot, I was a hypocritical Christian music director at some points, but
it was college.
It was college. So but the one thing I remember, Matt, I think you were at the Paulding Light, right? With the whole crew, the Radio X crew.
Yes. The Paulding Light. I love that thing. I mean, I think it's pretty much just cars, but still it was a great trip.
I was there the second time, not the cool first time. So I'm just going to have to hear the story.
Okay. I mean, there was a lot. It was fun. I can think off of the photo that we took before we left, like that gas station by Taco Bell, where it was Evan, Kent, Jen, I think what Gentrick, no, not Jen, Jen and Josh, Bridget, Vlad. Who was the ska guy that always wore like a locomotive?
Seth X.
Seth X. Thank you. And there was a couple people from Einstein was there. A couple people from the Northwind, I think, came with us. Casey, she was. I think she went by Princess Consuela on the air. Does that sound?
She was tall. I don't remember her.
Casey Foster Merck. She was tall blonde.
Don't remember her.
Okay.
I remember that name, but I don't because I remember the 3 names. I don't remember her as radio person though.
Yeah, she worked at Radio X for a while too. So we all got to go out there, and I think me and Casey somehow walked all the way to the other side, and then everyone's like, "Dude, it's there! It's right above you!" And we turn around and it's above you guys. Like one of those, and we're like all freaking out. So
I do remember.
so that was one of the fun Radio X adventures that we had, and other than that, like the 4th of July parade, I think I went to one of them because who lived near the parade route that we would start at? Do you remember?
It wasn't. Was it Ryan? No, someone lived like 1 block away.
Yeah, and it might have been.
Can't remember who it was.
Ryan.
Though.
It might have been Ryan. It might have been Crazy Dave. Maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Not crazy. Definitely Dave.
No. There was a Crazy Dave, wasn't there?
Oh,
yes,
yeah, there was Crazy Dave.
Was,
okay.
Absolutely a Crazy
He played
Dave.
Grateful Dead. Oh,
Yes.
Exclusively
yes.
Grateful Dead.
Yes.
There was also a Black Knight named Stuart, too.
Stuart, yep.
Stuart the Black Knight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And the squirrels. Do you guys remember that? Is that just me? Do you remember Stuart and the squirrels? And he would talk about the squirrels on air?
No.
That sounds familiar.
I wish I had
squirrels?
tapes because he was a nice guy, but he was a little out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he would go and he was like if you didn't know what Weird Al looked like and somebody was like, and you would think Stuart was Weird Al. Like if you talked to him, be like, oh, that's the guy. He wore a trench coat and he wore like a black trench coat and combat boots and he had long black hair, but he was totally not menacing.
No, he had
at all.
long blonde hair.
Blonde hair.
Long blonde hair,
Yeah.
not black hair. But he was totally not menacing at all. He was a total goofball.
The opposite of menacing. That's true. Yeah.
And
that was a Crazy Dave and a Dino Don. Yeah, we had all
Crazy
that.
Dave, Dino Don, and the cool thing is you met so many people that you would have never been friends with or associated
absolutely.
with.
We've talked about that before. Yeah,
it just brought people together, and even if it was just a quick chat, you could see each other in class. You would talk to people otherwise. So, I mean, it was just a cool student organization that I don't think any other organization on a campus like that would have that type of, because everything else is kind of geared towards one certain thing. This was so many things on just a radio station.
Yep.
Right. I 100% agree because like you were saying, all those other groups, like if you went to the group that did Dungeons and Dragons, you were into Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
You weren't into a bunch of things and casually wanted to check it out. Like that was your thing. And for us, really, music was our thing, but there were so many different types of music that you got everybody. Like there were
certain people that were only into this type of music. It like Nick the Crypt Keeper, straight up metal, and that was it all the time.
Right.
But then you had the other folks like us. Like I started as metal guy. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, I'd always liked other stuff, but, growing up in a Midwest town, all that other stuff wasn't, I guess, cool, for lack of a better term. Right. And then when I got to Radio X, I'm like, oh, I can tell everybody that I like all this stuff now because everybody likes this stuff.
It's safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all like something weird.
Yeah,
exactly. It was just a great, especially, and now's the part where all of us old guys can rip on the current station. Especially when you look
waiting
at
for this part,
what it's doing now. And I'm like, I went to their website and they have DJs listed. So that's a nice thing.
Yep.
But not like we had 50?
Yeah.
Yes.
They have 10 maybe listed.
Sad.
Maybe they have other ones. And when I look at what they play, like what the DJs listed like to play, it doesn't seem. I'm sure if I actually listen to the music, it would be more college radio. But the description of what they like to play, I feel like it's not super college radio to say, "Oh, I'm into pop punk." Yes, so were we 20 years ago.
Sure.
What's like this cutting edge thing that you're doing now? And if you tell me pop punk is Machine Gun Kelly, kudos to him for making a bunch of money and doing his thing. But, Newfound Glory was like not even cutting edge pop punk when we were there. You were talking No Effects and those that was the beginnings of the pop punk, or I guess you could probably even go back farther, but you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, right. And I think to a certain degree, though, when everything's on computer and it's all being looked at as a list on a window on a screen, music discovery doesn't really give you anything. Like, you just have the name of an artist and the name of a song. You don't see, any images. Artwork. Yeah, there's nothing to say, well, Reviews. This looks interesting. Right. Yeah, there's nothing. It's just, there's just name, song, and you're like, well, I see 10,000 of these. I'm just going to stick with the stuff I know, or at least the genre I know, because then it's relatively safe. If I don't know the artist and I don't see a picture of like their goofy guitars or their weird haircuts or whatever it might be, I'm just going to stick with what I know, because now you just have literally a black and white list of things that doesn't have any context. And
somebody put this file under rock. So it must be a rock band.
Yeah.
I guess I'll play it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who is this Dubai Brothers? Doobie. Sorry. Or what is the one in Bridget? Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo.
It's Oingo Boingo.
I feel a little old when I have to do our techno dance show on Friday nights. And it's all these DJ whatever something, and they're made up words now because every word has been taken for an artist. And then you have to be like, okay, there's a Q in it. Do I pronounce that or what?
The Q is silent. His name is Tom. Okay. It's just spelled QTOM.
Oh.
I have a 60-page magazine to start writing tomorrow.
Jesus. All right.
No, it's not about him.
I will...
He turned water to wine, not to beer, Matt. Come on, get with it.
I want 60 pages on Jesus tomorrow.
And I want stuff that already hasn't been written. Now go.
I want the greatest story never told. All right. So, anyway. All right. It's sad that all this is going to get cut out. All right.
No, it's not. Well, Spike, we've reached that time of the show here. It's time to wrap it up. It's been great having you here.
So fun chatting with you.
Hey, nice thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our old days, even though we're really not that old yet, but it was our old days.
It was the old days.
Back when we all had either regular colored hair or hair at all.
Yep. This is just a really short haircut, by the way. I do. Okay, no, I don't have hair really.
I was like, nobody knows what Matt looks like, so we could just tell everybody he's bald as a cue ball.
Completely bald. Shiny bald. You have to wear sunglasses.
So either way, it's been great talking to you, Spike. And
thank you.
We'll probably have to do it again sometime. I like hearing the radio stories, especially since you're still doing it out there. You're still actually working in radio.
That's right.
And you're keeping up that part of it. You're one of the few of us that is still out there slugging away. So God bless you.
I appreciate you guys having me.
So everybody, that's it. This has been X Radio X. I'm Jace, and you can swing me upon a hanging tire.
Bring me your flowered hat.
And I'm Matt. We'll take the trail marked on your father's map.
Oh,
that's X Radio X, everybody.
Thanks for listening. That's beautiful.
All right, that works for me.
I can turn that into
nice. Nice.
Jace, and then...
All right, hold on.
Jace it up for a few minutes.
All right, so be dumb. Got it. All right.